Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. In this video, we will be covering some important topics and questions related to those topics of the SC-200 exam. You can find the complete PDF of this video and our practice questions through the link down in the description. We have more than 30 plus certifications and are here to help you achieve your certification goals. We will try to answer all of your doubts related to SC-200 exam, such as the exam does not have lab type questions. It does have case study type questions. The exam duration is around 120 minutes in which you have to answer 40 to 60 questions. The minimum passing score is 700 out of 1000. There is no negative marking in the exam. This certification will be valid for a year after you earn it. About the exam renewal process, you will have to recertify. This is a tutorial video for the SC-200 exam. These are the topics that we will be covering in this video. However, these are not all the topics that will come in the exam. As such, we will be publishing more parts in this series in the future. So please make sure to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon. To the first topic, Defender for Endpoint. What is Microsoft Defender for Endpoint? It is an enterprise endpoint security platform designed to help enterprise networks prevent, detect, investigate, and respond to advanced threats. Defender for Endpoint uses the following combination of technology built into Windows 10 and Microsoft's robust cloud service. Endpoint behavioral sensors. Embedded in Windows 10, these sensors collect and process Embedded in Windows 10, these sensors collect and process behavioral signals from the operating system and send this sensor data to your private isolated cloud instance of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Cloud security analytics. Leveraging big data, device learning, and unique Microsoft optics across the Windows ecosystem, enterprise cloud products, and online assets, behavioral signals are translated into insights, detections, and recommended responses to advanced threats. Threat intelligence, generated by Microsoft hunters, security teams, and augmented by threat intelligence provided by partners. Threat intelligence enables Defender for Endpoint to identify attacker tools, techniques, and procedures and generate alerts when they are observed in collected sensor data. About Defender for Endpoint capabilities, in this diagram, you can see the capabilities for Plan 1 that are highlighted in the green color. To the questions related to this topic, question 1. Your company uses Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. The company has Microsoft Word documents that contain macros. The documents are used frequently on the devices of the company's accounting team. You need to hide false positive in the alerts queue while maintaining the existing security posture. Which three actions should you perform? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Here in this question, the company is using Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. It has Word documents that contains macros and are accessed frequently on the devices of company's accounting team. We need to hide false positive in the alerts queue while also making sure that the existing security posture is maintained. As such, the three actions that we should perform are hiding the alert, creating a suppression rule scoped to a device group, and generating the alert. Thus, the correct options are B, D, and E. Here is a brief explanation of each option. About E, you need to generate the alert first so that you can see it in the alerts queue. About B, after generating the alert, you can hide it if you want to remove it from view. About D, you can also create a suppression rule scoped to a specific device group if you want to only apply it to a specific group of devices. This helps you maintain the existing security posture. According to the question, I will stick with these. Question 2. You receive a security bulletin about a potential attack that uses an image file. You need to create an indicator of compromise in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint to prevent the attack. Which indicator type should you use? Here in this question, we know about a potential attack that will be using an image file, and we have to create an indicator of compromise to prevent it. As such, we should go with a file hash indicator that has action set to alert and block. Thus, the correct option is C. These are the steps to create this indicator. First, in the navigation pane, select Settings, Endpoints, and Indicators. Select the File Hashes tab. Select Add Indicator. Then specify the following details. Indicator, specify the entity details and define the expiration of the indicator. Action, specify the action to be taken and provide a description. Scope, define the scope of the device group and review the details in the Summary tab, then select Save. Question 3. Your company deploys the following services: Microsoft Defender for Identity, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, and Microsoft Defender for Office 365. You need to provide a security analyst with the ability to use the Microsoft 365 Security Center. The analyst must be able to approve and reject pending actions generated by Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. The solution must use the principle of least privilege, which two roles should assign to the analyst. In this question, we have to give the security analyst the ability to use Microsoft 365 Security Center and also prove and reject pending actions generated by Defender for Endpoint. As the solution must use the principle of least privilege, we should assign the analyst with the roles of the active remediation actions role in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint and the security reader role in Azure Active Directory. Thus, the correct options are B and D. B and D is correct. Security reader can access Microsoft 365 Security Center. Active remediation actions role in Defender for Endpoint meets need to prove and reject pending actions with respect to Defender for Endpoint. Requirement does not need more. Question 4. You have a Microsoft 365 subscription that contains 1000 Windows 10 devices. The devices have Microsoft Office 365 installed. You need to mitigate the following device threats: Microsoft Excel macros that download scripts from untrusted websites, users that open executable attachments in Microsoft Outlook, Outlook rules, and forms exploits. What should you use? Here in this question, we have 10,000 Windows 10 devices with Microsoft Office 365 installed. And in order to mitigate the given device threats, We should go with attack surface reduction rules in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Thus, the correct option is B. Question 5. You have an Azure subscription that uses Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. You need to ensure that you can allow or block a user specified range of IP addresses and URLs. What should you enable first in the advanced features from the endpoint settings in the Microsoft 365 Defender portal? In this question, we have to ensure that we can allow or block a user specified range of IP addresses and URLs. And in order to do that, the first advanced feature that we should enable is custom network indicators. Thus, the correct option is A. Answer A is correct. Custom network indicators configure devices to allow or block connections to IP addresses, domains, or URLs in your custom indicator lists. To use this feature, devices must be running Windows 10 version 1709 or later. They should also have network protection in block mode and version 4.18.1906.3 or later of the anti-malware platform. Note that network protection leverages reputation services that process requests in locations that might be outside of the location you have selected for your Microsoft Defender for endpoint data. Question 6. You have a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription that uses Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. You need to identify any devices that triggered a malware alert and collect evidence related to the alert. The solution must ensure that you can use the results to initiate device isolation for the affected devices. What should you use in the Microsoft 365 Defender portal? Here in this question, we have a 365 E5 subscription that uses Defender for Endpoint. We need to identify devices that triggered a malware alert and collect evidence related to the alert while also ensuring that we can use the results to initiate device isolation. Considering all this, the most appropriate option seems to be investigations. Thus, the correct option is C. Question 7. You have a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription that uses Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. You need to create a query that will link the alert info, alert evidence, and device logon events tables. The solution must return all the rows in the tables. Which operator should you use? Here in this question, we have a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription that uses Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. We need a solution which will create a query that will link all the three tables and also return all the rows in the tables. As such, we should go with union kind equals inner operator. Thus, the correct option is B. B is the correct answer. Union takes two or more tables and returns the rows of all of them. To the next topic, Defender for Identity. What is Defender for Identity? It is a cloud based security solution that helps secure your identity monitoring across your organization. It is fully integrated with Microsoft Defender XDR and leverages signals from both on premises Active Directory and cloud identities to help you better identify, detect, and investigate advanced threats directed at your organization. Deploy Defender for Identity to help your SecOp teams deliver a modern identity threat detection solution across hybrid environments, including prevent breaches using proactive identity security posture assessments, detect threats using real time analytics and data intelligence, investigate suspicious activities using clear, actionable incident information, and respond to attacks using automatic response to compromised identities. Defender for Identity was formerly known as Azure Advanced Threat Protection. About system architecture, the following image shows how Defender for Identity is layered over Microsoft Defender XDR and works together with other Microsoft services and third party identity providers to monitor traffic coming in from domain controllers and Active Directory servers. To the questions related to this topic, question 8. You are configuring Microsoft Defender for Identity integration with Active Directory. From the Microsoft Defender for Identity portal, you need to configure several accounts for attackers to exploit. Solution. From Azure AD Identity Protection, you configure the sign in risk policy. Does this meet the goal? Here in this question, we have to configure several accounts from Microsoft Defender for Identities portal for attackers to exploit. Considering this requirement, the given solution is incorrect. Thus, the correct option is B. Question 9. You are configuring Microsoft Defender for Identity integration with Active Directory. From the Microsoft Defender for Identity portal, you need to configure several accounts for attackers to exploit. Solution. You add the accounts to an Active Directory group and add the group as a sensitive group. Does this meet the goal? Here in this question, we have to configure several accounts from Microsoft Defender for Identities portal for attackers to exploit. As such, based on this requirement, the given solution is incorrect. Thus, the correct option is B. This is what honey token accounts are meant for. Sensitivity tags are meant for active users and groups. Question 10. You are configuring Microsoft Defender for Identity integration with Active Directory. From the Microsoft Defender for Identity portal, you need to configure several accounts for attackers to exploit. Solution. From entity tags, you add the accounts as honey token accounts. Does this meet the goal? Here in this question, considering that the requirements are same as the previous question, the given solution is correct. As such, the correct option is A. Yes. Honey token entities are used as traps for malicious actors. Any authentication associated with these honey token entities triggers an alert. Question 11. You have a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription that is linked to a hybrid Azure AD tenant. You need to identify all the changes made to domain admins group during the past 30 days. What should you use? Here in this question, we have a 365 E5 subscription that is linked to a hybrid AD tenant. We need to identify every change made to domain admins group in the past 30 days. Considering this requirement, we should use the modifications of sensitive groups report in Microsoft Defender for identity. Thus, the correct option is A. The modifications of sensitive groups report in Microsoft Defender for identity would be the best option to use to identify all the changes made to the domain admins group during the past 30 days. This report provides information about changes made to sensitive groups, including the domain admins group in the Azure AD environment, and helps to identify potential security threats. Question 12. Your company has an on premises network that uses Microsoft Defender for identity. The Microsoft Secure Score for the company includes a security assessment associated with unsecure Kerberos delegation. You need to remediate the security risk. What should you do? Here in this question, we have an on premises network that is using Microsoft Defender for identity. The Microsoft Secure Score for this company includes a security assessment that is associated with the unsecure Kerberos delegation. In order to remediate this security risk, we should modify the properties of the computer object listed as exposed entities. Thus, the correct option is C. Option A, disabling legacy protocols is not relevant to the question since it is a security measure that restricts the use of legacy protocols that may be less secure than modern protocols. Option B, enforcing LDAP signing is also not relevant to the question since it is a security measure that ensures that LDAP traffic is signed and encrypted. About option D, installing the local administrator password solution extension is not relevant to the question since it is a solution that automatically manages local administrator account passwords to help prevent credential theft. Therefore, the correct answer is C. Modify the properties of the computer objects listed as exposed entities. To the miscellaneous questions. Question 13. You need to receive a security alert when a user attempts to sign in from a location that was never used by the other users in your organization to sign in. Which anomaly detection policy should you use? Here in this question, we want to receive a security alert whenever a user attempts to sign in from a new location. As such, we should use activity from infrequent country anomaly detection policy. Thus, the correct option is C. This detection considers past activity locations to determine new and infrequent locations. The anomaly detection engine stores information about previous locations used by users in the organization. An alert is triggered when an activity occurs from a location that wasn't recently or never visited by any user in the organization. Question 14. You have a Microsoft 365 subscription that uses Microsoft Defender for Office 365. You have Microsoft SharePoint online sites that contain sensitive documents. The documents contain customer account numbers that each consist of 32 alphanumeric characters. You need to create a data loss prevention policy to protect the sensitive documents. What should you use to detect which documents are sensitive? Here in this question, we have a 365 subscription that uses Defender for Office 365. We have SharePoint Online sites that contain sensitive documents. These documents contain customer account numbers, each consisting of 32 alphanumeric characters. We want to create a DLP policy to protect the sensitive documents. And as such, we should use Azure Information Protection to detect which documents are sensitive. Thus, the correct option is C. Question 15. Your company has a single office in Istanbul and a Microsoft 365 subscription. The company plans to use conditional access policies to enforce multi factor authentication. You need to enforce MFA for all users who work remotely. What should you include in the solution? Here in this question, our company has a single office in Istanbul and a 365 subscription. We need to enforce MFA for all users who work remotely. As such, we should include a named location in the solution. Thus, the correct option is C. Named locations can be defined by IPv4/IPv6 address ranges or by countries. Question 16. You have a Microsoft 365 tenant that uses Microsoft Exchange Online and Microsoft Defender for Office 365. What should you use to identify whether 0 hour auto purge moved an email message from the mailbox of a user? Here in this question, we have a 365 tenant that uses Microsoft Exchange Online and Microsoft Defender for Office 365. We have to identify if Zap moved an email message from the mailbox of a user. And as such, we should use the Threat Protection Status Report in Microsoft Defender for Office 365. Thus, the correct option is A. To determine if Zap moved your message, you can use either the Threat Protection Status Report or Threat Explorer. Question 17. You have a third party security information and event management solution. You need to ensure that the SIEM solution can generate alerts for Azure AD sign in events in near real time. What should you do to route events to the SIEM solution? Here in this question, we have a third party SIEM solution that can generate alerts, and we have to ensure that it can generate alerts for Azure AD sign events in near real time. As such, we should configure the diagnostic settings in Azure AD to stream to an event hub to route events to the SIEM solution. Thus, the correct option is B. Question 18. You have a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription that uses Microsoft SharePoint Online. You delete users from the subscription. You need to be notified if the deleted users download numerous documents from SharePoint Online sites during the month before the accounts were deleted. What should you use? Here in this question, we want to be notified if the deleted users from the subscription downloaded numerous documents from the SharePoint online sites during the month before their accounts were deleted. And as such, we should use an insider risk policy. Thus, the correct option is D. When users leave your organization, there are specific risk indicators typically associated with data theft by departing users. This policy template uses exfiltration indicators for risk scoring and focuses on detection and alerts in the risk area. To be notified if the deleted users downloaded numerous documents from SharePoint online sites during the month before their accounts were deleted, you should use an insider risk policy. Insider risk policies in Microsoft 365 can monitor user activity across different services, including SharePoint Online, to detect potential insider risks such as data leaks or theft. You can configure an insider risk policy to trigger an alert when certain user activity matches a defined risk level or condition, such as downloading a large number of documents. Question 19. You have a Microsoft 365 subscription that uses Microsoft 365 Defender. You need to identify all the entities affected by an incident. Which tab should you use in the Microsoft 365 Defender portal? In order to identify all the entities affected by an incident, we should use the Evidence and Response tab. Thus, the correct option is C. The Evidence and Response tab shows all the supported events and suspicious entities in the alerts in the incident. Question 20. You have a Microsoft 365 subscription that uses Microsoft 365 Defender. You plan to create a hunting query from Microsoft Defender. You need to create a custom tracked query that will be used to assess the threat status of the subscription. From the Microsoft 365 Defender portal, which page should you use to create the query? Here in this question, we have a 365 subscription that uses 365 Defender. We need to create a custom tracked query that will be used to assess the threat status of the subscription. As such, we should use the advanced hunting page to create the query. Thus, the correct option is B. Use advanced mode if you are comfortable creating custom queries. Answer is B. These were all the questions for this video. You can find the complete PDF of this video and our practice questions through the link down in the description. Please make sure to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.